Welcome to another video, A Walk with Phil, and today I'm in West Bromwich, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a walk along the Lyng. It's something I've been meaning to do for a while now, is have a look around the Lyng, and I'm going to start here, Lyng Lane. Lyng Lane was a very important road back in the day. It was a link road to many roads ahead of it, especially here where it used to connect Paradise Street with its fire station just on the corner. But it's a road now that has had less significance over the years, and it's had a lot of improvements all along the side of it as well. So we're going to have a look around and see what we can find. Our journey begins here, Lyng Lane. And as you can see ahead of me is the West Bromwich bus station, and this is the West Bromwich Ringway, which back in the day obviously didn't exist. The road layout was far better, far simpler and less congested, but that's all changed now. So our journey begins here at Lyng Lane. Lyng Lane would continue right over there where the bus station was, but it's now been sort of curtailed here, and it's been this little bit crossing the railway is a kind of cycle path in the middle, and it's all pedestrianised. What I'm going to do is walk Lyng Lane and go a little bit beyond that. And one of the interesting parts about this particular part of the Lyng estate is that it's the roads. Now, for those of you who remember the roads and the street names around here, you'll be shocked to find that there's a lot of the roads have just disappeared off the map. I mean, here we got Lyng Lane, but it's not the Lyng Lane as it was, because Lyng Lane now ends here, and it goes up there. It's circled round, so that's been newly created to join the ring road just up there, joining Price Street and Moore Street. Because on the corner, and this is the thing about this area now, because there was a time when I obviously knew what was along here, but I just can't remember what used to be here, because now we've got this huge hospital complex, the Lyng Centre, which is mainly about medical screening and social care. Ahead of me, when we get there, on the right, will be a lot of new townhouses. But for the life of me, I just cannot remember what used to be on that area. But anyway, we'll see what we can see as we go along this particular road. This is the pharmacy here. And what you see here with this Lyng Centre, the Lyng Centre for Health and Social Care, there were several roads here that, I think they were around here anyway, but there were several roads here that now no longer exist. There used to be Dove Street, that was opposite Bowater Street. There was Cross Street, Smith Street and Baybrook Street. And yeah, they were all sort of around this particular area, but they are no more. And you'll find also there are 2 or 3 roads that would lead onto Lyng Lane as we walk down here. They've been the access to them now being cut off, and so again, it's amazing what they've done with the roads down here. They've changed the names, they've changed the layouts, they've got rid of a lot of them, and it really is it's one of the most reorganised roads that I know in West Bromwich. Fred Smith's here, MOT testing and such like. They've been there for a while now. As we look over here, we've got a few factory units here. I think that probably was one big factory at one stage, but not sure what it was before they were units. But we've got Frank Fisher Way here, and that leads you on to a lot of these new townhouses now. Frank Fisher, I believe, was a former mayor of West Bromwich. There's a strange sounding road up there called Dingley Bells. I'm unsure as to why it was called that. Very odd name, pretty silly name really, but it might have had some significance, I don't know. But because there is Charity Big Way up there as well, which most of you know was a famous wartime heroine at a very young age. I think she was something to do with the civil defence volunteers. And yeah, we here with Central House, just ahead of me, that used to be a paint and decorating place called Hankinson's, and that place was there for years and years. I was shocked to find that it closed down. No longer trading. And here's Royal Mail delivery sorting office. It's been there a while. There you go, there's the Royal Mail there, quite a long building. Okay, we're about halfway down Lyng Lane now, and again I'm going to show you to the right of how much it's changed around here. This is called Downing Crescent. Again, that's one of these newly created roads that would take you onto all the townhouses that built around here. There's quite a lot of them, and there's a play area that's been created as well. Just show you as well here, when this Royal Mail building was constructed, there used to be access to two roads. There used to be Hall Street and Bond Street. Hall Street and Bond Street used to have access to Lyng Lane, but behind Royal Mail building now you will find the roads of Hall Lane and Hall Street and Bond Street. We got the Turk's Head Way, and this is again a newly created road, because back in the day, before all this was built, this used to be called Sam's Lane, although we have got Sam's Lane ahead of me to the left. But this was also called Sam's Lane. It didn't even connect the original Sam's Lane at the bottom of this road, and you used to come out of Sam's Lane here and go along here, Lyng Lane, and then turn left. Unless of course we go back much further than say the 1920s, maybe Sam's Lane went straight ahead through this building that probably didn't exist back then. But anyway, we continue. Just here, I think this was also an access road that used to came onto this Lyng Lane. This used to be called, I believe, Mount Pleasant Street, because I'm assuming it is. It does look like it was a road once, and you can see cars ahead beyond that fenced part at the end. Okay, yeah, so Mount Pleasant Street, I think this was probably the access to, but of course that's obviously gone now. Okay, so we've got an old pub here on the corner. It's just some turned into a house or flats now. There's a lot of these old pubs now are all being converted. A lot of old pubs closing every week throughout the country. And West Bromwich is one of those towns that's been hit quite badly with regards to the pubs. There's loads of old pubs gone, and with this one as well, which is, I think it was called the Old Vic. Now this is Newell Street, and Newell Street is completely altered. Everywhere is new down here, I believe. But we used to have a couple of pubs down here as well. I think it was called the Wellington. And yeah, there was the Wellington, I believe. I think that was a pub that was opened in around about 100 years. It was opened in 1863 and closed in 1963. And also there was a pub down here called the Albion Inn, which I believe closed in about 1966. But I don't know. Again, it's hard to determine where exactly they would have been. I think down the bottom of the street, it used to be called the Lyng Foundry down there. It used to be owned by William Cross and Sons, and they were iron founders, and that actual business, I believe, the iron foundry, had been there since 1835. I think it went bankrupt in 1973. I don't know what it is now. There was a pub I forgot to mention on one of those roads, Baybrook Road, which no longer exists. I think it was a pub called the Dog and Duck. That's what somebody was telling me anyway. Dog and Duck was one of those old pubs. I think it closed early 60s, 1962, something like that. There's Southwold Walk. Again, one of these newly created roads. And also over there, somewhere, there used to be a pub called the Victoria Inn. But goodness knows where it was, or when it closed, or when it opened. It's only what someone's told me, the Victoria Inn, but of course now it's extraordinarily difficult to pinpoint with any exact precision as to where anything is now in the Lyng. Straight ahead of me is a pub called the Prince Albert. I don't know too much about the Prince Albert, in as much, yeah, it's on Sam's Lane. It's the Prince Albert. There's 2 or 3 shops next to that. We've got a fish bar and Eatwise, don't know what that is, and a little mini market just over there as well. Okay, we've come to a very busy road. Now this is Lyttleton Street to my, yeah, it's Lyttleton Street to my right, and we've got Sam's Lane here to my left. What I'm going to take a walk down Horton Street, see what's down here. There's a rear car park of the Prince Albert pub. Actually, the Prince Albert does look like a traditional pub, in as much as it's not one of these bar grills. At least some of these older pubs have had a new lease of life, being converted into these bar grills. A lot of them are quite popular these days. Okay, here's Leopard Lane to my right, another newish type of road. That was named after a pub that's on Moore Street called the Leopard. Well, it used to be there, but at least a part of the Leopard pub still exists. I think it's a storage building now. Just pan you around, see where I've just come from. Lyng Lane kind of ahead of me. Okay, so I'm going to take a walk now down Dora Road. And Dora Road, you'll find the school, Lyng Primary School. Yeah, the Lyng Primary School is here, down Dora Way. Now, Dora Way has never been a through road. It always sort of seals here at the end. We've got some rather fancy trees ahead, and there's a walkway there. I'm sure we're going to go through there, or we carry on round here, I think. Dora Road. These are all sort of older properties now, around about the 30s. It's a very quiet road. Not so sure how quiet it would be when the schools are back. We're currently here on a summer's morning, or Wednesday, and we've got school holidays, so I'm sure it's a bit quieter for the residents around here. Now at the end of Dora Road, we've got a street called Morris Street. Yeah, Morris Street, as you can see, begins just up there. And we carry on down here. Let's have a look, see what's down Morris Street. And Morris Street takes a sharp right here at the end, and it ends as Morris Street and becomes Maud Road. Very old road, Maud Road, and of course this is where the heroine who received the George Cross, Charity Bick, used to live, here in Maud Road. I think there's some kind of commemorative plaque of sorts at the Lyng School that we've just passed. to the end of Mud Road. I'm not going to dwell too much around here because I'm going to go back on myself and carry on a bit more ramble around the Lyng. I'll just show you here as we come to this open area which leads on to the West Bromwich Collegiate Academy. And on this site here to my left, that would have been as the Spon Lane Colliery was just over here to my left. And that was a very short-lived colliery actually. It was opened in around about 1855 when it was called Bullock's Farm Colliery then. It closed in around 1925, so it wasn't very long lasting. And just here to my right here, just ahead of me, would have been the Hamlet Brickworks. And as you can see now, it's all turned to nature. It's all been tidied up and landscaped and cleaned up, and there's a lot of school areas around here now, school fields and such like. So that, yeah, there you go. That's what you'll find at the bottom of Maud Street. Okay, we're now back up Albert Street. What we're going to do at the end of Albert Street is take a left back into Morris Street. Just show you down Albert Street. That monstrosity of a building just over there in Kelvin Way is taking shape, as you can see. It's going to be a very big and noisy place when it's finished. I'm sure the residents are going to love that place. And it's a big recycling plant. And here we are now on Morris Street. Just been down, just walked some of Morris Street down there. And we're coming back up this way. It's a very quiet residential area. And when we get to the end of Morris Street, we're back onto Sam's Lane. A lot of cars parked along here, making this street pretty quite narrow. And yeah, how many cars we got in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cars, all related to this one building, it seems. Okay, we're back on Morris Street. There's the new sign. And there's the old sign on the side of that house. Here we are then, down Sam's Lane. And everywhere you look in Sam's Lane now, it's all modernised, it's all been revamped, all redeveloped. And ahead of me in Sam's Lane, which will lead on to Spon Lane, and the bottom end of Sam's Lane is very industrial. You've got a few foundries from way back, Hackett's, Eagle Works. It was the Royal Castle pub. And I've come down because I wasn't sure if it's still trading as a pub or if it's been turned into a bar grill or something. We've got Farm Street here to my right and Pleasant Street up there to my left. It's very busy and congested, isn't it? Yeah, we've got the Royal Castle here on the corner of Pleasant Street, and it was built around about 1900s, 1902, and it finally closed down as a traditional pub in about 2001. Now you've probably seen, there are videos I've already posted related to this area of Spon Lane just down the bottom. If you want to search for those, you can find Spon Lane parts 1 and 2, comprehensively covering all what was down the long length of Spon Lane. Yeah, just here to my left, here on Sam's Lane, we've also already caught a small glimpse of them as I came to the bottom of Lyng Lane, but this is the oldest part of the Lyng now, I believe, are left. These very old terrace properties now that will have you got your front doors that lead straight onto the pavements. 1, 2, 3, 4 of them. These should be dated from around 1890s, I'd imagine. Because we've already seen that all of the Lyng has now been redeveloped practically, and that's probably all that's left, those 3 houses, 4 houses. Still quite an old block actually, which includes the Prince Albert pub here. Okay then folks, so that's the end of our little walk around the Lyng. It's extraordinary how much redevelopment has taken place around this area. I wouldn't have a clue as to what was on these particular sites now, especially down Lyng Lane. I can't for the life of me remember what was along there. But anyway, it's there isn't really much of old Lyng left, except those few terrace properties I've just shown you. So that's about it really. So if you like the video, hit the like button and also hit subscribe, and also hit the notification bell for future videos, and I'll see you on the next one.